Have you ever noticed how one tiny comment from someone can ruin your entire day? Maybe your coworker rolls their eyes, or your friend forgets to call you back, or that driver cuts you off in traffic. Suddenly, boom, you're boiling inside. But here's the question. Why do we let other people live rent-free in our heads? Why do we hand over the keys to our peace of mind to a stranger, or worse, to someone who doesn't even know they bothered us? Today, we're going to dive deep into the psychology of anger, the philosophy, and the practical tools behind one powerful idea: how to never get angry or bothered by anyone. Yes, never. Imagine being unshakable, like a mountain. People may shout, gossip, or act rude, but you stay calm, steady, and in control. That's what we're aiming for. And listen, this isn't about becoming cold, robotic, or numb. It's about learning the art of mastering your emotional response, so you can protect your energy, your relationships, and your happiness. So let's begin with a bold statement. Anger is not caused by people. It's caused by your interpretation of people. Think about that. Nobody can crawl into your brain and press the anger button. They don't have the remote control. If they did, you'd be a robot, and I'd be asking where the batteries go. Instead, what actually happens is this. Someone says something, and then you interpret it. And it's that interpretation, your story about their action, that lights the fire of anger. That's both terrifying and empowering. Terrifying because it means we're the ones creating the storm. Empowering because it means we can stop it. So the question becomes, how? How do we train ourselves not to get angry, even when people push our buttons? That's exactly what we'll explore. We'll break it down into 3 big steps. Understanding the psychology of anger. Practicing practical, everyday tools to neutralize triggers. Building a long-term mindset where nobody, yes, nobody, has the power to disturb your peace. Stay with me until the end, because if you apply what we cover today, you'll notice that arguments, insults, or even traffic jams won't touch you the way they used to. Let's start with psychology. Why do we get angry in the first place? Here's the truth. Anger is usually just a disguise. Underneath it, you'll often find fear, insecurity, or disappointment. Anger is the bodyguard of more vulnerable feelings. For example, imagine your friend cancels plans at the last minute. You get angry. They don't respect my time. But underneath, the truth is, you feel hurt. Maybe you're scared you're not valued. Maybe you're disappointed because you were looking forward to it. Anger steps in like a bodyguard, tough, loud, intimidating. But really, it's covering up the soft stuff. Now, let's connect this to philosophy. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, had a simple rule. You don't control what happens. You only control your reaction. Picture this. Someone insults you. They say, "You're so lazy." Now, your brain has a split second to decide. Do I accept this as truth, or do I let it bounce off me? If you believe it, you burn with anger. If you don't, you stay calm. It's like someone handed you a gift, but it's an ugly gift. You don't have to accept it. You just leave it in their hands and walk away. This is where most of us go wrong. We think the insult carries power. But in reality, the power only comes if we plug it in. Let me give you a real-life example. There's a story about Buddha. Once a man came to him and shouted insults for hours. Buddha stayed calm. Finally, the man asked, "Why aren't you angry at me?" Buddha replied, "If someone gives you a gift and you refuse it, who does the gift belong to?" That's the secret. Refuse the gift. Don't pick up the package of anger they're delivering.
Now, does this mean you'll never feel irritated again? Of course not. You're human. But here's the good news. Irritation doesn't have to turn into anger. You can intercept it. Here's how. First, pause. Take one breath before reacting. That one breath creates space between trigger and response. Second, reframe. Instead of thinking, they're attacking me, think, they're expressing their own struggle. Most people's bad behavior says more about them than about you. Third, choose. Consciously decide, I'm not giving away my peace today. It's like carrying a glass of water. If someone bumps you, what spills out is whatever was already inside. Fill yourself with calm, and calm will spill. Fill yourself with anger, and anger will spill. So, the deeper question is, what are you filling yourself with daily?
Now, let's get practical. What can you actually do in daily life to avoid getting angry or bothered? Tool number 1, practice the pause. We already mentioned one breath, but here's the trick. Make it a ritual. Anytime you feel the heat rising, literally say to yourself, pause. Then breathe. Just 2 seconds of awareness can stop a blow-up. Tool number 2, change the channel. Your mind is like a TV. When anger shows up, don't sit there watching the channel of how dare they. Switch it. Think of something funny. Play music. Recall your favorite meal. Your brain can't stay angry if you shift its focus. Tool number 3, lower the volume of your ego. Most anger comes from ego. How dare they disrespect me? But here's the secret. People don't think about you as much as you think they do. In fact, they're too busy worrying about themselves. So why waste energy being offended? Tool number 4, practice empathy judo. When someone's rude, imagine their backstory. Maybe the cashier snapped at you because they're exhausted after a 12-hour shift. Maybe the driver cut you off because they're rushing to the hospital. Even if it's not true, this exercise softens your response. Tool number 5, use humor. Laughter is anger's kryptonite. Next time someone insults you, imagine them wearing a chicken costume while talking. Suddenly, it's hard to take them seriously. Tool number 6, choose silence. Sometimes the best response is no response. When you don't fuel the fire, it burns out. Silence is power. Now, let's address something important. This doesn't mean you should let people walk all over you. Calmness isn't weakness. You can stay firm, set boundaries, and still remain unbothered. Think of it like a martial artist. They don't fight with wild anger. They're calm, focused, precise. That's true strength. And here's a bonus tool, gratitude. Every morning, list 3 things you're grateful for. Why? Because gratitude is like emotional armor. If your heart is already full, it's harder for petty annoyances to pierce through. Remember, anger is a choice, and not getting angry is also a choice to protect your energy.
So, how do we make this permanent? How do we move from practicing tools to living a life where we're naturally unbothered? Step 1, adopt the mindset of a long game. Don't expect perfection tomorrow. Instead, notice small wins. Maybe yesterday you yelled at a driver. Today, you just muttered under your breath. That's progress. Celebrate it. Step 2, train like an athlete. Emotional control is a muscle. Every time you pause instead of exploding, you're doing a mental push-up. Over time, that muscle gets strong. Step 3, detach from approval. Most anger comes from caring too much about what others think. Free yourself from this cage. When someone criticizes you, remember, opinions aren't facts. You define you. Step 4, live by a higher purpose. When you focus on your goals, your growth, your contribution to the world, small insults shrink in comparison. It's like being on a mountain and ignoring the barking dogs below. Let's wrap this up. Never getting angry or bothered doesn't mean life will be perfect. It means you'll be unshakable no matter what happens. Here are the big takeaways. Anger comes from interpretation, not people. You can pause, reframe, and choose your response. Practical tools like humor, empathy, and silence disarm irritation. Long-term mindset training makes calmness your natural state. So the next time someone tries to push your buttons, remember, you own the remote. And if this message resonated with you, stick around, because this channel is all about giving you daily, practical wisdom to transform your life, step by step, idea by idea. Hit that follow, share this with a friend who needs it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay calm, stay unbothered, and stay unshakable.